This is Representative Matt Kopec from District 9.
Yeah, so I'm actually one of your state representatives in this Arizona State Legislature. In Arizona, there are 30 districts, and each district has 1 senator and 2 representatives. Got here kind of an interesting way. I was appointed, actually wasn't elected, because every 2 years, the state representatives have to run for office, and I filled the vacancy. And I'm actually the youngest member of the Arizona House of Representatives, actually the whole legislature really. So let me start by asking you, what do you guys think the Arizona legislature does or doesn't do?
So who can make an educated guess? Come on, somebody. What do they do? What do you think they do?
They vote for new stuff into the neighborhood, or something like that.
Yeah, you're close. So what? There's 2 main functions that the Arizona legislature does. Is we pass the laws for the state of Arizona. So for example, like you have to, your parents have to register their car, things like that. We also pass the budget for the state of Arizona. So when people buy things in the store, there's sales tax, and they also folks pay income tax. So we decide what we want to do with that money. So we have to make sure we fund schools. We make sure that the people have health care and things like that. So those are the kind of main functions of the Arizona legislature. And then there are also some other things that factor into that, but don't worry about that. So have you guys heard of the legislature before? Have you guys have any familiarity with it? Does anybody have any fun stories? Okay, well that's good, because yeah, they're hard to come back, and I work there. So the thing that I think makes a good legislator is because we represent people. So the most important thing is that we ask people and we meet with people to see what they think and what their opinions are about a whole host of things. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to come here today, because I think it's important that a legislator understands what's going on in their district and in the neighborhoods in their district. So this is Amphi. My district has TUSD, Floyd, Wells, and Catalina Foothills as well, those school districts. So it's important for me to know what's going on in all of those districts and as many schools as possible. So that's one of the biggest things that I think that a legislator does. So if you ever meet another one, what you should do is you should ask them, what do you think? What's going on? What do you think is happening in your district, in your district, in our district? So,
Where did you go for school?
So I'm from Tucson, so I went to Marshall Elementary School, the Mustangs, and then I went to Sechrist Middle School, that's in TUSD, with the Scorpions. And then for high school, I went to Catalina, Catalina Trojans. And then I went to the U of A after that, so bear down. I hope all of you go there too.
Where were you born?
I was born in Tucson.
Yeah, so born and
Yeah.
raised, did all of his schooling here in Tucson, so he knows the city well.
Do you live around
No. We make, it's actually in the state constitution how much a state representative makes. That's $24,000 a year.
That's not a lot of you.
No. So it's back when Arizona became the state, even before that, Arizona has kind of a citizen legislator model, which is where people would have, kind of regular jobs. They would be bankers, or they would be cattle ranchers, or they would own, stores, general stores. And what they would do is that they would give up some of their time every year and go to the legislature and make the laws, pass the budget, and then go back to their regular jobs. So back in the old West days, that was what the state's founders thought was the best model, and that has continued up until today. So that's why we work the session. So when we're in session, when we're passing the laws and writing the budget, that's only supposed to last 100 days starting in January. So we're usually done by May. So that's kind of the model. So you can, there are discussions about that, but that's sort of how it's set up. Yes.
How does it feel to be state?
It's really incredible, because you speak for people, your people's voice when we're talking about a bill or a law. So it's really, you really have to work hard to make sure that you do all you can do to.
That just reminded me because we're doing something about the Lorax.
Mhm.
You speak for people.
Mhm.
The Lorax you speak through choose.
That's a great message.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it does, and sometimes doing my job, it does feel like Dr. Seuss, but it is, you're quite right.
And being a state legislator in Arizona is actually a part-time, it's considered part-time work. So that's why you could be a state legislator and have another job if you wanted to do that. It might be hard during session.
Yeah, especially because during the session, because I live here, I leave for Phoenix Sunday nights, and I come back to Tucson Thursday nights because we work Monday through Thursday. So yeah, when you live outside of Phoenix, it can be kind of tough, but it's still very fun. So let me ask you this: has anybody ever seen the state capitol?
No.
Are you there?
Oh, yeah, I've been there to see my son,
Keegan.
who's a retired Air Force. Yeah, I went up there.
So I think if you ever guys get a chance to hear from Phoenix, I definitely take the time to see if you can take the time to go see it, because it is really interesting to see, especially when we're in session, because there's a gallery, you can sit up and you can see everybody on the floor, and then you can see us voting, and it's really interesting, and it kind of gives some perspective about what goes on there. So, and then I know you have this question.
Were any of your family state representatives?
No, my dad. Nobody. My dad used to work at a copper mine, and my mom works for the post office. So now I'm the first one.
Do all the capitals in the states, do they do the legislators actually meet there?
So yeah, so every state has a state legislature, and each one's different. I mean, each one has a different setup. Some, like as I serve in the House of Representatives, some states call it the General Assembly. And actually, there's one state, Nebraska, only has one chamber. So because in Arizona we have a House and we have a Senate, they just have one. So each state's different. Each state meets at a different time, and some have different models. But yeah, every state has a legislature.
And they meet probably at their capital.
Yeah.
How long have you been a state legislator?
Since January, because I was actually appointed because to fill a vacancy. I took over for someone who had to leave office, so she decided to run for something else. So I was appointed to fill her term, which ends this year. So I haven't been there that long. I'm actually the youngest member too. This might be a little granular, but the way appointments work is the precinct committee people of the party meet, and they pick 3 people to be nominated, and those nominees go to the county board of supervisors, and the board chooses from those 3. So it happened to be me in this case. So which is I think is good because it keeps it local. So
So basically, they choose 3 people that will fill in for.
yeah. So
they change jobs or they retire.
And then he was chosen from those 3.
From those 3, yeah.
But normally, we hold an election, right? And then people vote for your state representative.
So has anybody, when you're with your parents driving around, or maybe when you get dropped off here, have you seen those signs, like those with people's names on them?
Yeah.
So those are people running for office. So those are candidates running for. Some of them are running for legislators. Some of them are running for other offices. So whenever you see those signs, you know it's election time. So that's how it normally works. But I just had a special.
So, like the signs that show like alley something. I forgot her full name. It's Allie Miller. Yeah, Allie Miller.
She has a big sign.
What would you rather do if you were a state rep?
So it is John.
Well, before I was a representative, I worked for the city of Tucson. So whatever I do, I want to work locally. I want to work with my community in some capacity. So it's always to me being a legislator is public service, and it's something that I think is really important, it's something that's really driven me, so something like that.
Alright guys, any other questions? Anything else you wanna?
I think I wrote too many questions.
What's that?
I think I wrote too many questions.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for listening to me. I hope hopefully this gives you some interest in how state government works and how government works at all levels, because it's really important, because there are folks that get elected to office that make decisions that affect you and your family. So as you guys get older, I hope you maintain an interest in that. Maybe one of you someday will also run for this position. I would think I would encourage you to do that, because being involved in your community and making sure that you're helping your neighbors is really important. So that was my closing thought I want to leave you with. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Give Mr.